The NBA offseason is heating up, and once again, the Golden State Warriors are right in the middle of the action. If the rumors are true, and there's more than a little smoke to suggest they are, the Warriors might be on the verge of pulling off what could be one of the sneakiest and smartest moves of the summer. New reports are linking the franchise to Bucks forward Bobby Portis. And while on the surface this might seem like a sudden development, don't be fooled. This is a deal that's been quietly cooking for a while. The question now is, can general manager Mike Dunleavy finally make it happen? Because if he does, Golden State could be landing a player who fits head coach Steve Kerr's system almost too perfectly. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, let's make something clear. Bobby Portis is not some throw-in, bench-warmer name. This is a guy with championship experience, real production on both ends of the floor, and the kind of mentality the Warriors love. He's tough, he's reliable, and most importantly, he can stretch the floor, exactly what Golden State looks for in a modern big. But it goes deeper than that. Kerr knows him well, and the respect between them runs both ways. They spent time together during the 2023 FIBA World Cup, and Kerr came away from that experience clearly impressed. He sees Portis not just as a contributor, but as a seamless plug-and-play piece in a system that requires IQ, patience, and versatility. Let's break down the appeal here because it's not just about the numbers, but the numbers are good. Portis averaged around 14 points, almost 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and threw in a bit of everything on defense. He's not an elite shot blocker, but he holds his own. What makes him really dangerous in Golden State's offense is his shooting. Over 36% from beyond the arc, over 43% specifically from the corners. That's exactly where Kerr likes to station his bigs when they're not diving to the rim or passing out of the high post. Portis also shot a solid 46% from the field overall, and he's got a mid-range game that, okay, maybe Kerr doesn't love every shot selection in that area, but it speaks to Portis' confidence and versatility. He's not afraid to take shots from anywhere, and in a system like Golden State's, that kind of spacing and unpredictability can be deadly. Here's the tricky part, though. Bobby Portis is under contract. He has a player option for this upcoming season worth $13.4 million. That's not exactly pocket change, and Milwaukee reportedly wants to keep him. They value what he brings, both on the court and in the locker room. He's earned the nickname Mr. Milwaukee for a reason. He helped bring the Bucks a title. He's a fan favorite, and he's never been shy about expressing how much he loves the city and the team. So why would he leave? Well, this is where things get interesting. Portis might want a longer-term deal. There's chatter around the league that he's not super enthusiastic about playing out that player option if it means hitting free agency again next summer. He'd rather lock in some long-term security now. And the Warriors might be just the team to give him that, especially if it means they can get a valuable win-now player without blowing up their core or dipping deep in a luxury tax hell. That brings us to the big puzzle piece in all this, Jonathan Kuminga. Everything the Warriors want to do this offseason, from trades to free agent signings to staying under certain salary cap lines, hinges on what they decide to do with Kuminga. He's shown enough promise to be viewed as a potential star, but he's also inconsistent enough that Golden State might be tempted to move him if the right deal comes along. If they keep him, it tightens their salary flexibility and likely takes them out of the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, which is worth about $14.1 million this year. The exact number that could be used to bring a player like Portis. If they trade Kuminga, suddenly the math changes. The Warriors could open the door to that mid-level slot and make a serious play for Portis either via trade or free agency, depending on how things shake out. There's also the possibility of a trade, even if Portis opts into his deal. Let's say he exercises his player option, but signals he's open to being moved. Milwaukee, dealing with their own questions about the future, especially with Damian Lillard recovering and the timeline for a serious title run uncertain, might be willing to make a deal. They've reportedly been willing to shop Portis before. This isn't new. He was on the block around the trade deadline last season, and even though nothing materialized, the Warriors were heavily involved in those discussions. They wanted him. They just couldn't quite make the money work at the time. But now, there's a path. A deal centered around young assets like Moses Moody and Brandon Podziemski might be enough to get Milwaukee's attention. Podziemski, in particular, is intriguing. He's on a very team-friendly deal, has shown flashes of real talent, and is a favorite of Kerr. The coach reportedly had him marked as untouchable last season. But as we've seen time and time again in the NBA, everyone has a price. And if the Warriors believe Portis is the missing piece to make one last serious run with Steph and Curry, they might be willing to part with someone they once saw as a future cornerstone. And look, if you're tired of hearing about rumors, speculation, and all the trade buzz, I get it. But this is what the offseason is about. This is the time when teams are picking up the phones, evaluating every option, trying to get better. For the Warriors, the clock is ticking. They've got one, maybe two more real shots at contending before the window closes. Steph is still Steph, but he's not going to play forever. So these kinds of moves, even if they seem speculative now, are the lifeblood of staying competitive. Some never materialize, but many of them come back around in surprising ways. Remember the rumors about Jimmy Butler and Kevin Durant in past years? They never went away. Sometimes it just takes the right timing for those talks to turn into real deals. Now, let's get a little nerdy for a second, because there's actually some advanced analytics behind all this that help explain why Portis fits so well. NBA front offices have started leaning heavily on a statistical method called cosine similarity. Basically, it's a way of measuring how similar two things are. In this case, player profiles. It takes into account dozens of variables, from shooting percentage and rebound rate to defensive impact and play style. When you apply this method to the Warriors system and try to find the ideal center to play in their motion offense, a few names jump out. Brook Lopez scores an almost perfect match with a cosine similarity of 0.99. Another strong fit, Naz Reid. But right behind them, clocking in at 0.96, is Bobby Portis. That number doesn't lie. Based on his style, Portis fits the Warriors like a glove. He rebounds, he shoots the three, he passes well enough to keep the ball moving, and his defensive numbers are solid. He's not a lockdown guy, but he doesn't need to be in this system. What he needs to do is provide floor spacing, grab boards, and rotate smartly. And he does all of that. Plus, the guy brings fire. He plays with emotion, intensity, and swagger. The real challenge is going to be timing. The Warriors can't move until they figure out what they're doing with Kuminga. And across the league, a bunch of dominoes still need to fall. What happens with Giannis and the Bucks' future? What about Kevin Durant and other superstars who might be on the move? All of those situations have ripple effects. But make no mistake, Golden State will be active. They've made it clear that they're not ready to rebuild just yet. They want to win. They want to give Steph another shot. And they believe the right additions, not stars necessarily, but fits, can make the difference. That's why the Bobby Portis situation is so compelling. It's not just a name. It's not just a rumor. It's a possibility that actually makes sense on the court, in the locker room, and in the cap sheet if the Warriors play their cards right. Portis may not be the kind of guy who grabs headlines in July, but come playoff time, he's the type of player you want on your side. Gritty, versatile, experienced, and ready to contribute in a system that values intelligence and spacing. So now the wait begins. Will Dunleavy make the call? Will Milwaukee listen? Will Bobby want to leave the city where he became a champion to chase another ring with Steph and the boys in the Bay? Nothing's set in stone, but one thing's for sure. This isn't just noise. There's real interest, real fit, and real opportunity. The Warriors are hunting value this offseason, and Bobby Portis might just be the steal they've been waiting for. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Whispers are stirring across the NBA as a surprising rumor about Giannis Antetokounmpo begins to surface. The Greek freak, known for his dominance on the court and loyalty to the Milwaukee Bucks, might be eyeing a new challenge with one of the league's most storied franchises, the Golden State Warriors. Recently, sources close to the superstar hinted at something that has instantly caught the attention of fans and analysts alike. According to insiders, when Giannis was approached with the idea of joining the Warriors, his reaction wasn't dismissive or indifferent as many might have expected. Instead, he reportedly expressed genuine interest in the possibility of suiting up for Golden State. This revelation has sparked a whirlwind of speculation, as the Warriors, fresh off a competitive resurgence, seem like a tantalizing destination for a player of Giannis' caliber. The thought of Giannis Antetokounmpo teaming up with the Warriors' core, potentially alongside stars like Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, has NBA enthusiasts buzzing. The blend of Giannis' unmatched physicality and versatility with the Warriors' renowned shooting and ball movement could create a powerhouse lineup capable of challenging any contender. While nothing is confirmed, the mere idea of Giannis entertaining the prospect of a Warriors jersey adds a thrilling dimension to the off-season chatter. Adding fuel to the fire, Giannis reportedly mentioned how he admires the Warriors' culture and championship pedigree, which aligns closely with his own ambitions. The Bucks have been his home for years, but the allure of playing in a system known for innovation and success might be tempting enough to make him consider a switch. It's important to remember, though, that rumors like this are just the beginning of what could either become a seismic trade or simply remain an exciting what-if scenario. For now, the NBA community watches eagerly, waiting for official moves or statements that could confirm or dispel the swirling rumors. Whether Giannis stays loyal to Milwaukee or decides to embrace a new chapter with the Warriors, one thing is clear. The prospect alone has reignited conversations about the future balance of power in the league. Fans can only speculate and hope that this potential blockbuster addition might soon become a reality, reshaping the landscape of the NBA for years to come. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.